These brooders are amazing. I couldn't be happier with this company.
We absolutely love these cages.
One at a time, okay, guys? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another morning musings. I was almost going to say Katernix Corner Live. Glad to see we got a few people in the house already this morning and some people over in the chat room. That's good. Let's see. I don't really have a whole lot going on here to announce from the house. Nothing new with the bees. My chickens are getting big. The Brahmas, they're growing like weeds. Looking good. I got some turkey eggs in the incubator right now that came from Bryant's Roost. I'm expecting them to hatch right around July 4th, somewhere in there. So that'll be good. Shout out to our sponsors this morning, as always. HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail Farm and Hatching Time. Both these guys have been around for a while. Hatching Time has been around since the beginning, so I really appreciate that. HP's been around here. I'm not sure of the exact time, but it's been a while. And both of them are great as far as helping out with the channel. They donate some stuff to give away to you guys as prizes here on the live streams. And HP kind of helps me out with hatching eggs and stuff whenever I need to do a video and stuff like that. So much appreciated. And Hatching Time, they've helped me out tremendously as far as the caging systems go. So much appreciated there. I do want to give a shout out to, I'm going to do this every week now too, on the Katernix Kids sponsors. Because if it wasn't for them, we would not have the Katernix Kids program. Wholesome Harvest supplies a 40-pound bag of feed to give away to the kid. Southern Biophiliac and Big Spring Quail donate hatching eggs. Sugar Feather Farm supplies, Sugar Feather Farm and Stellar Game Birds supply an incubator for the kids. And then Pips and Chicks and Champions Blend donate a gift certificate from Tractor Supply to help get the kids rolling. So you guys, much appreciated. We really appreciate it. Speaking of the kids project, we have another one coming up here for July. And Andy, I see that you're in the house. If you and the other judges could, before the website goes down, get a winner selected for July and let me know on that one. That way I'm not going to miss out on the July kids winner. So if you wouldn't mind contacting the rest of the judges and let me know who you selected. All right. What else do we got here? We are going to be doing some giveaways today on the channel. As always, HP donates some hatching eggs to give away. So we'll be doing that. And we'll also have a $50 gift certificate from Hatching Time. I do want to announce that HP still has the special going on over on his website. If you use the coupon code CC20, that will get you 20% off of your order off of his website. And also, he wanted me to let you guys know that this afternoon he's going to be posting some new auctions on his auction page. So check that out. I think it's, if you search on Facebook for Gopher Ridge auction, Gopher Ridge Quail auctions, something like that, it should come up. Excuse me. Throat's been a little weird this morning. Let's see what else is new. For some of you, you may have noticed that I uploaded an updated 2025 recommended breeder list. That is basically the same breeder list that we released back in January of this year. There's just been a couple modifications made to it. I don't want to go into it in detail right now, but if you see that, it's not a new breeder list. It's been updated. So if you want to check it out, it is over there on the channel. All right, and I think, I got another special going on. This is for the people that hang out over at the Coturnix Corner Facebook group. We are going to be doing another header banner image change out. So it'll probably be posted later today, but if you want to submit your photos, we're going to be giving away a really nice prize to the photo that is selected. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not even going to mention what it is over there, but I can tell you that a lot of people have been requesting this. So there's a really neat prize coming. Get your best photos of your quail or your setup or whatever, and share it in the comments on that post. Like I say, I'll be posting that probably right after the live stream. I'll go ahead and get that posted. And if you guys would, go ahead and hit that that thumbs up button. Just let YouTube know that you guys still like watching these live streams, and they kind of help us out with the algorithms a little bit. There was one other thing I wanted to mention, and it's probably going to come to mind here in a little bit. I don't know. If we think of it, we'll come back to it. So let's go ahead and see who all is in the chat room this morning. Like I said, we are going to be doing some giveaways. In about 20 minutes, I'll go ahead and give you guys the hashtag so you can get entered into the giveaways. And we'll do one, halfway through, and then we'll do another one towards the end. So Andy Rabbit says, good morning. Welcome, Andy. Glad you could join us today. There's HP. Gopher Ridge says, good morning to all. I'll have to watch and listen to you guys later today. Duty calls. Have a great day. You too, HP. Much appreciated, and enjoy your day. Troy Guthrie's in the house. Says hello from Western Oregon. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you guys. My little bird, my little dove. I think I got a problem with my dove. I think he's imprinted on me. I've been trying to figure out a way to get him introduced to the wild so I can release him. And I actually took him out yesterday, and he was on my shoulder, and we went for a walk, not around the block, but down the block a little ways. And he wouldn't fly off my shoulder. So I ended up picking him up. And I set him on the ground, and I was just watching him. You know, he's kind of pecking around like birds do, and I started walking away just to see what he would do, and that stupid thing started following me. So I got a feeling I'm going to have a hard time getting rid of this bird, and I don't know what to do. I'm half tempted to call a wildlife rehabilitation center and see if they want to do something with him, or because I really don't need a bird. And I don't know how well. I don't know if doves would make a good pet or not. So, Andrew Rabbit says, "Hello, HP. You take care this morning." Absolutely. Amanda says, "Good morning, all from Haven Hatchery." Glad you could join us, Amanda. Papa's in the house. Says, "Good morning, everyone. Have a great day, HP. We will miss you." Yep. Murray Strauble says, "Good morning, everyone from West Michigan, Quail." Morning, Maury. Glad you could join us. I got to get with you later today or this week, Maury. We got to get that live stream set up that we were talking about doing. Papa's in the house is awesome. Let's get started. Farmer 1956 says, "Good morning." Good morning, Farmer. Freight Holler says, "Good morning, all from Citrus Springs." Glad you could join us this morning. Andy Rabbit says, "Good morning to Maury." Dan says, "Good morning from Fremont, Wisconsin." Good morning, Dan. Yeah, and if any of you guys have any idea how I can do that with that bird or what I can do, like I said, I mean, he's over here sitting in the box. I have to put him in a box, really flying all over. Plus, I got Cookies back there somewhere behind me, and she'll chase him down if I let him out. But yeah, I've got to figure out what I can do with him. So Hobby Farm says, "Good morning from North Alabama." Good morning. Brian Edwards says, "Good morning from Central Texas, y'all. Glad you could join us." Maurice talking to Andy says, "Good morning." Papa says, "Good morning, all. I'm joining you from Ohio Viking Festival in Lake County, Ohio." Cool. The Viking Festival. Farm Her says, "Michigan here." There's a lot of people from Michigan in here. Robert says, "Morning. I have my first flock started and hatched, hoping this addiction takes me far." Well, it either will or it won't. I mean, definitely it is addicting. I think I got my first quail seven and a half years ago. And about 6 years ago, we started Katernix Corner, and it just took off from there. So, yeah, definitely addicting. Yes, Waisaki says, "Good morning, all from Chris of Thielman Quail in Perrysburg, Ohio." Cool. Glad you could join us there, Chris. Nadia says, "Good morning from hot and sunny South Carolina." Yeah, I see the world is getting, at least our part of the world, is getting really warm. They've actually had temperatures in the Midwest and actually up north in Wisconsin that were hotter than our highs here in Florida. So that's crazy. Don Skins in the house says, "Good morning from South Mississippi." Good morning, Don. Glad you could join us. Carolina says, "Good morning from North Carolina." Andy Rabbit says, "Don't forget to hit that like button." Yeah, guys, hit that like button. I'm going to refresh this page and see if you guys have. Yeah, we had a few people hit it, so that's cool. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up, guys. And if you're not subscribed to our Katernix Corner YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, when I release videos, you guys will get a notification. You'll also get the notification for the live streams, so you don't miss the live streams. Ryan Allen's in the house says, "Good morning from Sweet Home, Alabama." Good morning. Jessica says, "Good morning from Missouri." If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and throw them out there. We'll get a conversation going here. John says, "Good morning, everyone." Good morning, John. Glad you could join us. Freight Holler says, "I have a 4-week-old chick that has spots on each side of his chest, but down the middle, no spots. Is that still a hen or a roux? Did you ever have trouble telling males from females at 4 weeks?" No, usually at 4 weeks, depending on the color variety, usually by 4 weeks, you can pretty much tell, because the Pharaohs, they're definitely going to have that reddish orange on their chest, going down their chest. If it's one of like the fee varieties, that's going to be, you'll have spots on both sides of the chest, but then you're going to have like a whitish colored breast on it. So it very well could be a hen if it's a fee variety. But if it's a pharaoh or an Egyptian, something along those lines, it's most likely going to be the rooster. You can tell because it's going to have that reddish orange down its chest. Anita Garrett says, "Hey guys, I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Glad you could join us, Anita. Good talking to you last night." And I did by the way, I watched that thing on TV at 10 o'clock. So that was pretty interesting. Short, but interesting. Andy Rabbit says, "Good morning, Anita." Anita says, "Hi, Andy." Bonnie says, "Hello from Ohio. Glad you could join us, Bonnie." Dustin says, "How do I get the barred rock quail? I couldn't find them on the site." I believe you're talking about the ones that Bryant's Roost has released. I haven't been to her website in a while. I don't know if she's still offering them or not. It's bryantsroost.com though, if you haven't already checked out her website. I believe the ones that she's calling the barred rocks, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a sparkly fee. I'm not sure. It does have a strange pattern. HP has actually produced some of those. You could contact HP too, because I know he said he's produced them and he's got a few. He's just not producing them for sales to the public. So if you wanted some hatching eggs, if you can't find them, get them from Bryant's Roost. Call HP and see if he can hook you up. Carolina says, "Hey, love the channel. I am new, but learning every day. Very cool." That's what the channel's here for. Rebecca says, "Morning from Jonesboro, Illinois." Glad you could join us, Rebecca. Robert says, "Good morning, Terry. Got my first set of quail yesterday, 10 out of 15. Am so excited." Very cool. 10 out of, got my first set of quail yesterday. 10. So you hatched 10 out of 15? Is that what you're saying? Cool. Papa says, "Dove is tasty eating." Yeah, but he's such a little thing, and he likes me now, and I kind of don't like it when they. I mean, he's so weird. I mean, I can call him. I just tap on the table or shake my hand like this, and he'll fly over to me, and it's pretty weird. Dan says, "Good morning from Ohio." Good morning, Dan. Glad you could join us. Amanda Smith says, "Congratulations, Robert. Such an exciting journey." That it is. And he says, "When I had my squirrel, I called a wildlife rehabilitation center. They told me how I can slowly introduce him into the wild." Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, is, a little advice on how to switch him over. But the time that I had him outside yesterday, if there was a predator around, he would have been gone, or she. I don't even know what it is, but he didn't show any sign of wanting to hide, or it was just like he just following me down the sidewalk. He's a crazy little bird. But yeah, I am going to call a wildlife rehabilitation center Monday and see what they say. Hopefully they'll take him off my hands. 340 Quail Farms in house this morning, everyone. Sunny Central Florida checking in. Glad you could join us. Butterfly Me Away says, "Morning from steamy hot Charleston, South Carolina." Yeah, they're like the second or third person that said that it's steamy hot up there on the East Coast. Who was the other one? Oh, Allie, Maine's Confetti Quail Farm, said she was down in North Carolina and said it was toasty. Francois says, "Good morning from Lebanon. How are you doing?" Oh, we're doing great here, Francois. Glad you could check in from Lebanon. PT Jeff says, "Another hello from Ohio." Glad you could join us, Sir Jeff. Reed says, "Dove make wonderful pets to get it to stop following, all you need to do is quit feeding it. It will hang around, still be very friendly, but it will look for food and water. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping. The only thing that scares me as far as releasing it, I don't care if it hangs around, but we've got so many predators, hawks. Um, the way I ended up with this bird was I was outside in the backyard doing something, and I heard a bunch, a ruckus going on up there, and it was a crow had this bird in his mouth. It looked like he had pulled it out of the nest, and the other doves were dive bombing the crow. But anyhow, they must have knocked it out of its mouth because he came falling out of the sky right in front of me. And at first, I just wasn't going to pay no attention to it. I figured, let the birds work it out. But it started to rain and it was getting cold, and I'm like, that poor bird. I didn't see the parents around anymore, so I went out and I picked him up, and I noticed on his side, underneath his wing, he had a big scrape where his skin got kind of ripped back down to the meat. So I didn't think, with the fire ants and everything, I didn't think he would survive outside. So like a dummy, I picked him up and brought him in, and I should have just left him. But now he's healthy now. He's doing great. And he said, would it be okay to let him live in your yard? I raised deer and I let him live in my yard, 30 acres. He came and went as he pleased. Like I said, Andy, I would try that. I would release him. I'm just afraid that between all the feral cats and all the hawks and, other predatory birds, that he wouldn't stand much of a chance. I was talking to my neighbor. He's got a little chunk of land it's pretty wooded. And he said he actually has some doves down there that have been nesting. So I was thinking that might be a good place because, it's wooded. It's got some places that he can hide and whatnot. And there's probably a better chance of him finding food over there than out in my yard. So Bluebird says, good morning from Missouri. My first HP eggs just hatched about an hour ago, 48 to go. Very cool. Congratulations on the hatch. Hope you get a good hatch rate out of those eggs. Marine says, first winter with quail. They are in an outside aviary, 13 by 8 feet. Will be wrapped in plastic, sand floor. We'll need a house in the Canadian winters, Nova Scotia. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. That's a good idea to wrap it in plastic. That's going to, keep any strong winds from affecting the birds. But, the quail are pretty hardy. They can handle some cold as long as they can get out of the weather when they need to. They deal with the cold just fine. Not HP, but oh Lord, I can't even think of his name. It'll come to me in a minute. He's up in northern Canada, and he says the same thing. His birds are regularly subject to well below zero, and they do just fine. Leah's in the house. Southern Biophiliac says good morning. Glad you could join us, Leah. White says, lots of flowering cilantro in my garden. Does anyone have any experience offering it as a treat? No, but you could offer it to my wife. She loves cilantro. Let's see here. Costello Hobby Farm says, we are patiently waiting for some hatching eggs to come from Thieving Otter Farm, getting some black Coturnix. Very cool. I hope you get a good hatch. Anymore, I'm kind of nervous about having eggs shipped to me. I'm hearing horror stories about the Postal Service. Just they're running way behind. Shipments that normally take 2 and 3 days to get there have been running, 7 to 10 days, which is totally uncalled for, especially when it comes to priority mail. As a matter of fact, I talked to a bee company that I ordered a couple queens from, wanting to get their input on, how I should have those things shipped, because they had several shipping options. She said anything but USPS. She said USPS has been totally screwing up their orders. Queens being in the mail for up to a week, which, especially coming out of Georgia, going to Florida, they should be here in a day or two at the most. So, but yeah, anyhow, good luck when you get your eggs. Hope you get a good hatch rate. Andrew Abbott says, Terry, how long will the website be down? Hopefully not long, if you guys even notice it at all. The account with that web host has been canceled for just over a week now. but I noticed they haven't pulled the websites down. So, my website, Gulf Coast Quail, it's still up and it should be down. Coturnix Corner, but I am working with another web host right now, getting my files transferred over, and hopefully it'll be seamless. Hopefully by the time the first host shuts it down, the second host will be up and running. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Tony says good morning from. I think I missed somebody's comment here. Tony says good morning from Idaho. Glad you could join us, Tony. Jessica says, I just want to say that I love my birds I hatched from HP. They are the friendliest quail I've hatched so far. We actually have more eggs coming that should be here tomorrow. Very cool. Yeah, I love everything that I've ever hatched out from HP has been phenomenal. I mean, the jumbos are true jumbos. Very little, if any, aggression. I don't think I've noticed any aggression. I had a bunch of them out in my aviary. They did very well. You can ask Maury from West Michigan Quail. He was down here, and he couldn't believe the shape that those birds were in. So, all right, let's see. Get back in line here. Jason says, good morning from Ontario, Canada. Not new to birds, but just getting it quail for the homestead. Went with Egyptian jumbos, mostly meat use. Cool. That's actually my favorite bird is the Egyptians, or anything that's got roux in it. I like that coloration. So cool. Congratulations on your Egyptians, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the quail. Most people do. Tim says, question, do you use grit? If so, how do you feed? Mixed with crumbles or separate? For the longest time, I never offered my birds grit. I had a bag out here to show you guys. Come over here. I never offered my quail grit until I had Jeff Maddox come on the live stream, and somebody asked him about offering grit to quail. And I always, when people ask me about offering grit to quail, I always said, you really don't need to, because crumbles are water soluble and they don't need it. But Jeff was saying that by offering them grit, they actually make better use of the crumbles. They're pulling more nutrition out of it. So I was buying chicken grit. This stuff is very fine, and the quail had no problem eating it. I don't know if you guys can see in that little window there. Anyhow, I got it in here for the quail, or not for the quail, but for the dove. The dove definitely needs it because he's on seed right now. So, but how I would feed it, my birds that were in the aviary, I would just dump it in with their regular feed because they had a feed trough. But if you got like a J feeder or something on the cage, or a shoebox type feeder, I'd go ahead and offer it in a separate container. That way you can kind of monitor how much the birds are actually using. But either way will work. The quail are going to recognize that that's grit or stone, and they're going to, if they need it, they'll take it. So, good question, Tim. Shoe Family Quail Farms in the house says, morning, everyone. Glad you could join us. Tony says, I'm still working on getting my Chinese incubator to put out bomb hatches. Put in 50 eggs and had 7 hatch, 2% hatch rate. Yeah, that's no good. To be honest with you, Tony, if you can pick up a better incubator, or you could probably build one that is going to give you better hatch rates than those cheap Chinese ones. I'm actually doing a video right now. I just laid out all of the parts for it on incubation, and it's going to feature a couple different cheap Chinese incubators that came off of Amazon. Actually, they were sent to me by companies that were on Amazon, but that's funny, Andy. They're too inconsistent. It's funny because I've actually recommended one. It was the Van Pope hubs. I got that incubator. It was sent to me just to do a review on. I told the guy, I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it just because you sent it to me. If it's good, I'll let people know. If it's not, I'm going to, let people know it's junk. And I did, I want to say 2 or 3 hatches on it with it before I even did the review. And it actually worked pretty darn good for being a cheap Chinese incubator. But here's the problem. After the 3rd hatch, the incubator just died. It's totally dead. So it's garbage. That's why I don't like to recommend anything that's, you could still get halfway decent incubators for, around the $100, $150 mark, but go with something, and I know people are going to say you can't get one that cheap, but something like the Brinzia style incubator, not the Brinzia itself, because you're basically paying for a name, but, and the Baratos, they all have those small tabletop incubators. The ones that you see that are dome shaped that have a little motor that turns the plastic egg turner. Every one of them that I've used has been subpar, we'll call it. I would definitely try to find something, even if you have to, invest a little bit more money. You're spending money on eggs, so you might as well get those eggs to hatch out. Andy Reb says, "Oh, Terry has a heart." Yeah, so sweet. Yeah, it's funny because if people see how I was with my quail when it comes to culling and whatnot, you wouldn't think that. But, no, this thing, he just kind of grew on me, I guess. Tony said, "I'm wondering if jumbo eggs require a different temp and humidity to get better hatch rates." No, the exact same all the way through 99.5. And keep your humidity a little bit on the lower side. I know a lot of people say 50% during incubation. I like it around 30 to 35%. That way, the air cell has a chance to get a little bit larger, and that helps with the when the chick internally pips. He's got a little bit more air to breathe before he does that external pip. When people are using a really high humidity, the chick will pip internally, but the air cell is so small that he doesn't have enough oxygen to breathe to externally pip to let in fresh oxygen, and he ends up suffocating in the egg. So, yeah, watch that. Bump your humidity up, obviously, when you go into lockdown to about 60%. Ouch, and you should be fine. All right, we're at 9:30. We're going to go ahead and do a giveaway. Hashtag hatching time, all lowercase, all one word. And we'll give somebody a $50 gift certificate. And then shortly after that, we'll do the hatching egg giveaway. We'll take a couple more comments here while we're waiting on that. What happened to my... Okay, good. Everybody's bringing in their hatching times. Tony said, "I'm wondering if jumbo eggs require a different temp and humidity to get better hatch rates." We already answered that, and no. Jim said, "I recently built another awesome 240 DIY incubator, Terrabator. The last build with double P8 fans dried out the humidity really fast. Thoughts on a single fan, single bulb for the 240? Yeah, then you're going to run into temperature issues. There's not enough heat generated by one bulb for the 240, and not enough air movement to keep from having hot and cold, or warm and cold spots. So if you follow the directions on the video that I did, you should be able to get your humidity to where you need it. I mean, it's just a matter of the size tray that you use for water. You may have to add a few sponges if you're having issues with it being too low. But I've never, obviously I'm in Florida. We don't have to worry a whole lot about humidity. But I've talked to a lot of people that, were out west, Arizona and whatnot, in Midwest, and we've worked through their problems and actually got their humidity where they wanted it. Oh, man, my back's killing me. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys put in the second hashtag That way we don't have to do it here shortly. For Gopher Ridge, it'll be hashtag Gopher Ridge, all one word, all lowercase, and we'll go ahead and get that a little bit, probably in about 20 minutes or so. All right, Amanda says, Palamacy rescues and rehomes pigeons does. Might take you a little double. I don't know where they're at. We do have one down here on Sanibel Island. Can't think of the name of it, but I don't know if they're going to take it or not, but we'll find out. How many jumbos do you put in your 36 by 20 by 10 inch cage for egg layers? Usually, I mean, you can go up to 20 birds per unit. I'd usually do about 15 hens and a couple roosters. And, you know, I've had pretty good luck with that. I don't have any of those style cages anymore, so everything's out in the aviary now. But I think you could probably get away with, you know, 20 birds per unit. Should be no problem. Sundial Fragrance Review says, good morning. Anita says, that's exactly why we don't ship eggs any longer. USPS has messed it up for everyone. Yep. Yeah, that's terrible. Viking Chicks in the House says, good morning. Chantel Williams in the house says, oh my God, almost missed this again. Too busy with quail chicks. Well, I'm glad you made it, Chantel. And let me know how your hatch went. I've been kind of waiting to hear back from you on that. All right, let's go ahead and do a giveaway. If I can remember how to do it. Okay, we got to go to share screen. Why won't it let me choose a live stream? All right, something's going on here. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Let me go back to stop sharing. Hold on, guys. I messed something up. Giveaway. Okay, there's that screen. Go back down here to present, share screen. That looks a little bit better, and the hashtag was hashtag hatching time. Collect a few comments here. Looks like we got 34 people in the drawing. There we go. That worked better. And let's pick a winner. Todd Jacobson. You got $50 coming, Todd. All right, Todd, I need you to email me your information. I got to use my personal email because my other one, because we canceled that hosting account. Let's see, KC4TM at Comcast.net. Send me your shipping information. Make sure I get a good email address because that is how Hatching Time will be sending you the gift certificate. Okay, and for those of you who are just joining us, the next giveaway is going to be hashtag Gopher Ridge, all lowercase, all one word. Get your hashtags in, and in just a few minutes, we'll go ahead and do the drawing on that one. Amanda says, I shipped priority from North Mississippi to South Mississippi. It took 6 days. Thankfully, only packed the same days late. Shipping is insane. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I've got shipments, priority mail shipments that, you know, come from like up by Anita or out west from Arizona in just a matter of a couple of days. So why on earth is it taking, 7 to 10 days to get shipments out? They're really dropping the ball. Nadia says, received 36 eggs from Gidraw's farm in 2 days, hoping for a good hatch. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you got yours on a decent time frame. Yes, Wasaki says, regarding shipping eggs, my eggs from Leah shipped beautifully. Great. glad to hear that. I think where the problem lies is in these the centers where it's like the transfer hub. I think some of those are, I don't know, either shorthanded or what, but it seems like some eggs or some shipments go through. Like I know anything that leaves me goes up to, I'm trying to think of the name of the town. It's up by Leah, as a matter of fact. Goes to that transfer hub, and then from there it's dispersed out. But a lot of times they get hung up in these transfer hubs, and they'll sit there 3 or 4 days before they're actually, put into transit to its destination. So, no, it's just crazy. Costello Hobby Farm says, I'm wondering, I should have made the couple-hour drive north to pick up the eggs instead of trusting the mail. Yeah, I mean, that's an option too. Obviously it'd be a lot cheaper to get them shipped to you instead of, paying the gas to drive there and back. But yeah, if you're worried about it, that is an option you could do, or hopefully they won't, screw it up. You'll get them on time. Joy says the Gopher Ridge eggs I won go into lockdown today. Cool. Praying for a good hatch. 27 out of 30 eggs I won went into the incubator. Very cool. Well, we've got our fingers crossed for you, Joy, and hopefully you get a decent hatch. And he said, when I was in elementary school, below 4th grade, we had a project to drop an egg off the roof of the school. We had to come up with something so the egg would not break. Wow, that's interesting. Put it in a shipping box. Because I'm sure that's how a lot of them end up getting to the destination. I was surprised. I mean, I had Jennifer Bryant ship me some turkey eggs, and I even asked her before she shipped them. I'm like, how's the post office doing with the eggs, and what kind of hatch rates are you getting? And she really surprised me, that everybody says that they got good hatch rates, good fertility rates, and the eggs got there, on time. But when I got the package, I realized it was the way she boxed them. She had the eggs in these big foamers, just like the foamers for quail, just bigger holes, and had that in a small box, and then had that small box packed inside a larger box with, foam peanuts all around it. So a lot of it has to do with the packaging and the way the breeder boxes up your eggs and whatnot. So yeah, Sundial Fragrance says I don't normally offer grit, but I have some sand for them, and sometimes I sprinkle some chick grit in the sand. Yeah, and sand will do just the exact same thing. I mean, it's a grit basically. Van Garcia says, question, how much should jumbo quail weigh at 10 weeks? There's an old saying going around, 10 ounces by 10 weeks. I found in the jumbo lines that I kept, they were hitting 10 ounces at, 6 and 8 weeks. So, if you're getting 10 weeks and you're getting, 12 to 14 ounce birds, you're doing good. All right, Andrew Rabbit says, sometimes I wonder if that teacher was trying to find a way to ship eggs. Very cool. Yep. Sundial Frame says, question, Terry, how often are you replacing the roosters? When I was worried about my fertility rates as far as, for shipping hatching eggs or selling hatching eggs locally, I was usually getting rid of roosters around 6 to 8 months. But now, I'll let them go a year. They're still doing the job, and I'm not doing near the hatching that I used to be. I'm not selling hatching eggs, so I'm not too concerned with fertility rates right now. The thing I got those Brahma chickens out in my aviary right now, and you see the size of those things. They're only like 4 months old, and they're bigger than your average chicken already. So your average full-grown chicken. So I'm really interested in getting, I don't know, maybe 3 hens and 1 rooster out of them. That way I can, incubate some more eggs. But I got to make room because I got, like I said, I got turkey eggs in the incubator right now, and I've got maybe 2 weeks left. Sundial Fragrance Review says, what criteria are you using when choosing the Rooster? First off is obviously overall health. Then I look at conformity. I want to make sure that the body is what I'm looking for. The last thing I look for in a rooster is coloration. I don't normally worry too much about pattern and coloring unless I'm actually working on a line that's strictly a specific color variety. But right now, the way I've got things set up, I've got HPs, jumbo Egyptians, and jumbo pharaohs, and I'm just looking for healthy birds. I don't want birds that produce birds with issues like wry neck or structural frame issues. I'm trying to think if there's any other thing. Look at their beak, look at their eyes, look at their feathering, make sure that everything looks healthy, nice bright eyes. You don't want beaks that are too long, scissored, or anything like that. Look for any type of deformities, and then go from there. I don't know, what you're choosing for. Are you looking for showbirds? Are you just looking for meat birds? That would play a big factor in how I was choosing my birds. Amanda says, agree on the lower humidity on incubation. We dry hatch in Mississippi, already naturally humid. Yep. Okay, we got a whole bunch of hatching time comments. This is how far I am behind. We got a whole bunch of hatching time comments. Andy Rabbit says, I no longer worry about humidity during incubation at all. Dry hatch, and it is what the humidity is. Yeah, that's pretty much the way I do things. I mean, those turkey eggs that are in the incubator now, I haven't added water to them since I set the eggs, and the hygrometer and the regulator on the incubator itself are showing anywhere between 40 and 50%. So, yeah, I figure that's about perfect. Okay, I've got a whole bunch of Gopher Ridge comments now. What time are we doing? It's 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll give it a couple more minutes, and then we'll do that last drawing. Dustin says, I built one of your style stack rollout cage. How much of a difference does adding a sandbag make? Will it defeat the purpose of having a rollout because of them laying eggs in it? The sand bath? No, I mean, I used to put little plastic, they were like wash basins that you can buy at dollar store or Walmart. I think they were like $1 a piece. It's maybe that big, probably 12 by 10 inches, something like that. And I would fill that about halfway up with sand, just slide it in the cage, and the birds would all pile in there, and play around in the sand. But if they did lay eggs in it, I would just go through. It's real easy to sort them out and pull the eggs out of the sand. But for the most part, it didn't affect them that much. I would say probably 50-50, 50% laid in the sand. The other 50 were just, using the egg rollout. But yeah, I mean, if you want to add sand to them, for the first couple of years, I never gave my birds a sand bath. But it's pretty neat how, they enjoy. You can tell they enjoy it. They jump right in it and start kicking sand everywhere and whatnot. Sundial Fragrance says, question, are you doing something special for the quail in regards to the heat in the summer? When the birds were indoors, yes, it was climate controlled. I had air conditioners in there. I tried using ventilation fans. All that was doing was moving hot air around. It was pulling in hot air from outside, which 95 up to 100 degrees, and then blowing it through the shop. So it didn't really help much. So yeah, when they were indoors, I had climate control. Outdoors in the aviary, no. They deal with the heat just fine. They deal with the rain from rainy season just fine. So yeah, if I'm going to keep them outside, I don't worry about temperatures and whatnot. I do, like in the summertime when it's really hot and I notice the birds are panting a lot, I'll give them some like sliced cucumber or cut up some watermelon and throw that out there just to make sure that they're staying hydrated and, picking up a few extra vitamins and minerals and whatnot from the thing. So now Fragrance Review also says, question, what was the one thing you believed you did good in raising quail that turned out to be bad? Probably when I first started, I kept my birds on 1/2-inch uncoated wire, and I had a lot of problems with feet issues. Once I went to the larger wire, I switched to a 1/2-inch by 1-inch coated. The feet issues pretty much disappeared. So that was probably the only real thing that I'm trying to think. Was there anything else that might have involved the caging? Well, when I first started too, I was building wire cages, but they were framed out of wood. The thing I found out was that the wood absorbs manure smells. Um, even with me taking the cages out, every 2-3 months and pressure washing them, the manure smell was ingrained inside that wood so bad that I bring them back in, they dry out and they'd still smell. So that's why I went to the all wire cages, and those worked really well. Lightning Chick says, question, when you built your aviary roof, how much of an overhang did you make? I need to change mine and trying to consider snow and rain problems. How much of a pitch did you do? The pitch, I think I have let's see, the front of the aviary is 6 foot and the back is 5. So I've got 1 foot of drop in 10 feet. And the only thing I use for a roof is those tarps that you buy at Walmart, those cheap, you could use the blue. I don't really care for the blue. I buy a brown one. It's brown on one side and gray on the other. And I expose the gray side up so it kind of reflects a little bit more heat. The nice thing about it is I've got about 1 foot of tarp that hangs over all the way around on the aviary. So if the rain is coming in kind of sideways, it stops that. But being that my quail are on concrete in the aviary, they do have a layer of shavings in there. The problem is when it rains, rainy season rains from every direction. The floor gets wet, the shavings gets wet, and it takes a day, for it to usually dry out. So what I try to do is try to keep enough stuff inside the aviary. Like I've got, branches and some hide boxes and whatnot that they can get into areas to get off of that wet substrate. But yeah, like I say, all I use is a tarp. I actually have metal roofing out there, roofing sheets. My neighbor had a new roof put on from the hurricane, and the company they call them cover sheets, that they have one on the bottom and one on the top. They had some left over, and I went over and asked the roofers. I said, hey, are you guys wanting these sheets? And they said, no, take them. So I brought them home to put a roof on the aviary and never used them. Todd, I posted in the my email. I posted in the comments section. I posted my emails. Not the comment section, in the chat room. I'm sorry. It's KC4TM, Kilo Charlie 4 Tango Mike at Comcast.net. All right, one more here, and then we'll go ahead and do another giveaway. Carolina says, when do quail stop producing fertile eggs? Well, I mean, as long as you've got roosters that are breeding with your hens, you can get fertile eggs for a couple years or more. It just depends on the amount of fertility rate that you're worried about. Roosters, as they age, they are not as fertile, so they're not fertilizing as many eggs in the hen. So you might get, I would say after even 2 years, I would say you should still get a 50% fertility rate, even out of an older rooster like that. Most people change out their roosters, within the first year or by year 1, and that keeps their fertility rates up, in the 90% plus zone. So, okay. I'm just going to bring that one up, Todd, just so I know that that's where I left off. All right, guys, let's go ahead and give away some hatching eggs from Gopher Ridge Quail. If you haven't already, comment #GopherRidge, all lowercase, all one word, and that will get you into the drawing. Okay, share screen. Okay, there's the last one. Let's go ahead and pull up a new one. Morning Musings, hashtag GOPHERRIDGE. And we have 33 comments for hatching eggs. Let's see who the lucky winner is. No way. What on earth are the odds of that? I can't believe it. You guys saw it. I mean, there was there was no denying that one. Todd was the Todd was the winner. What on earth? I cannot believe that. All right, Todd, I'm going to put my email in there one more time, KC4TM at Comcast. Oops, I spelled Comcast correctly. All right, Todd, you are going to get not only a $50 gift certificate from Hatching Time, but a 30 count of hatching eggs from Gopher Ridge Quail. And sometimes, guys, that's the way it goes. I mean, we've had winners from one week come back and win the following week. That's why I'm using this giveaway tool now. So nobody can accuse me of cheating. So, wow, that was crazy. Let's see what everybody's saying down here. Holly says, congratulations, Todd. Go buy a lotto ticket. No kidding. Wow, that is crazy. Good deal. Congratulations, Todd. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Andy Rabbit says, I know someone that got a shipment of eggs and there was no foam on the bottom of the box. Almost all the eggs were broken. Yeah, that's what I say. You gotta pack them right. You know, can't expect them to get there, you know, if they're not packed correctly. I need a drink. I think we already addressed this one. The birds enjoy the sand bath. I mean, it helps them, you know, if they got like a mite issue or anything, it kind of helps them that way. They also can eat the sand as a grit. It doesn't defeat the purpose of having the rollout because not all birds are going to lay in the sand, but the ones that do lay in the sand, you're going to find that you have really nice, clean eggs. Sundown Fragrance says, thank you, Terry. Absolutely. I'm just looking for meat and eggs for now when choosing the rooster. Thanks for the info. Okay, if you're looking for just meat and eggs, select a rooster, you know, that has decent size. You don't want a rooster that's huge. You know what I mean? Roosters are normally going to run a little bit smaller than the hens anyhow, but you don't want a rooster that's going to be mounting the hens and, you know, tearing them up, tearing their back up. So, you know, I'd select a nice, you know, 12, 14 ounce rooster. You know, don't go grabbing a 16 ouncer thinking that you're going to get monster birds. You're just going to get a bunch of beat up hens. All right, Todd, it looks like I just got your email in and your address. Oh, you're in Naples, Florida. Very cool. Thumper says, what do you charge for eggs, meat, and pickled eggs? Well, I'm not shipping eggs anymore. Eating eggs were, back when I was selling them, I was getting like $4.50 a dozen. With the recent egg shortage or the previous recent egg shortage, I know people were getting, you know, $6-7 for a dozen quail eggs, which that's a lot. Hatching eggs, on average, $1 an egg. And let's see, pickled eggs, I never sold them. I can't sell it's a processed food, I guess you'd call it. So I can't do that. I gave a lot away, but I've never pickled them and sold them. Andy Rabbit says, my puppy went down with parvo last Sunday. Today you would not believe he was almost dead. He's a great puppy. Yeah, parvo is crazy. I mean, matter of fact, the last time I took the last litter from Cookie, I took them into the vet to get their health check because we're required to have that now. All right, I lost my spot here. That's what they said, that there was a rise in parvo cases. I lost my spot. It's probably because I went too far. There we go. Yeah. Braid Holler says, what is your plan for quail when the hurricane is approaching? Are you bringing them inside to the cages you used to have? Yeah, if anything that's out in the aviary will come indoors during a storm, a hurricane storm. A buddy of mine up in Punta Gorda, just north of me, he left his outside. He had like I think it was like a little aviary set up he had hatching time cages out there, and he left them outside during the storm. And he ended up after the storm going down the road and picking up all his pieces and parts from his hatching time cages, and he lost all his birds. But yeah, no, all my birds will come indoors for the storm. Dustin says, I've got Gopher Ridge and my shower eggs in the incubator now. They go into lockdown tomorrow. Should I put a paper towel on the plastic for splay lay prevention? Yeah, what I use, I mean, you can use paper towel. I would use several layers of paper towel if you're going to do that. Like maybe 3 or 4. You want it, to where it's not going to move at all. I use that drawer liner material. You can get it really cheap at Walmart. I think a 25-foot roll is like $4 or something. And that works perfect. Plus, you can reuse it. You can wash it and reuse it. So, yeah, definitely put something down in your incubator, because most incubators have that plastic floor that you put the eggs on, and you're going to end up, it's just going to help your birds, get good footing. So, Amanda says blue paper towels like shop towels are great. Some people also use cabinet liners. There you go. Sundial Fragrance Review says, are you planning on raising Brahma chicken or just short-term project? Where are you purchasing the chicken eggs from? Actually, the eggs came from a buddy of mine who used to buy 90% of my excess quail eggs. He was always buying hatching eggs from me. He actually gave them to me. I think I want to say he gave me 15 eggs, and I had 10 hatch out. I'm down to 9 now. I lost one. I don't know why, but I lost one, but the rest of them are doing great. No, I just plan on keeping them for eggs for eating. And they're so cool. I mean, they're big birds. So I want to have them just kind of moseying around the yard, picking up maybe dead bees or whatever. But no, I don't plan on breeding them and raising them and selling them and whatnot. But I'll do the occasional hatch now and then. Andy Rabbit says, I can say I'm on my second batch of 3-year-old quail, and I get great hatch rates from them. There you go. Proof is in the pudding. Amanda says, go play the lotto, Todd. Go buy a lottery ticket. Yeah, people just, that's crazy. Another lottery ticket. Marco says, can I please buy some eggs from you, sir? I don't sell hatching eggs right now. I could recommend HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail. He can hook you up. His website is gopherridgequail.com, or on Facebook. He's got Gopher Ridge Quail Auctions. Check that out. He is going to be doing some auctions this afternoon. All right, where I read that one. Lolo Fluffy Nugget says, big time winner, Todd. Congrats. Todd, you should buy some lottery tickets today, too. Congratulations. Yeah, that's crazy. Ben Garcia, Todd, buy a lottery ticket. Castle Heights. Morning, Terry. Morning, Brian. Glad you checked in. Brian, we were just talking about you on last week's live stream about doing another bee-related live stream. So if you got some time, get a hold of me, and if you're up to it, let's go ahead and set something up. Tater Farm says, congratulations, Todd. Marco says, what type of sound should I use, and what type of strand should I stay away from? What type of sound should I use, and what type of Marco, I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, what type of sand should I use, and what type of sand should I stay away from? Okay. I hear a lot of people are buying play sand from like Home Depot or Lowe's. and haven't had any problems with it. I've actually bought one bag of that because I needed some sand. It was rainy season, and I didn't feel like going down the beach. I normally just go to the beach with a 5-gallon bucket and get a few scoops of sand down there, and I've never had a problem with it. But yeah, if you want to buy your sand, go ahead and go to like Home Depot and get play sand, and that should be fine. Vegas C4 says, question, I purchased quail from Myshire Farm 6 months ago, and their feathers have not gotten better. I thought just molting, but now not sure. Could it be mites, and how do you recommend treating mites? It could be mites. I'd love to see a picture of it because I don't really know what you mean by have not gotten better. Some birds, some quail have like a really rough, almost like a frazzle thing going on with their feathers, and that could be something that they were breeding for, or you just happen to get a line that has that type of feather pattern. If it is mites, I hate saying this because there's a couple different ways people go to get rid of mites. Some people will put like ashes in their sand bath, ashes from like a wood fire, and let their birds, sand bathe in that, and that can help kill the mites. Other people will spray them down with I believe it's a 0.5% solution of permethrin to get rid of the mites. I actually did a video on the channel. You can look that up, where we talk about getting rid of mites using permethrin, and it's like a 0.05% mix. I'm not sure on the exact thing, but look that video up if you want to go the chemical route. But like I say, if you can do it naturally, just get some ashes from a fire pit or something, and mix it in with your sand bath and let them bathe in that. Some people use diatomaceous earth in their sand. I've heard positives and negatives about that. You'd have to do a little bit of research on it, see if you want to go that route. But if you do, you go the diatomaceous earth route. Get a food grade diatomaceous earth. So, but yeah, there's a few different ways. If you're suspecting mites, first thing I would do is do a really close inspection to rule out mites or to rule in mites. Let's see. Vegas says check the protein levels in your food. Had the same issue, different breeder. There you go. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. So yeah, very good. All right, guys, it is 10 minutes after 7. So 10 minutes after 7. How about 7 minutes after 10? So we're going to go ahead and pull the plug on this one. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Congratulations again to Todd for winning both the hatching eggs and the gift certificate. I've never seen that happen, but I guess it's not totally unheard of. Andy, if you would, real quick, get with the other judges on the giveaway for July, just so we can get them picked in case the website does go down. I want to make sure that we've got a winner picked. But anyhow, everyone have a great day, a great rest of your day. Have a great week. I will let you guys know what we're doing as far as Tuesday goes. I do not have a guest lined up, but if I find somebody, we'll go ahead and go live Tuesday. Other than that, we'll just see you back here next week, Sunday. Have a great day, guys.